Hello, welcome to Dracula in Russian Lesson 42. If you have not listened to Lesson 41, please click on it now. If you are new to the channel, please click on Lesson 1.
Van Helsing examines, he tells me, ye teeth очень carefully, whilst Anna is in the hypnotic condition, for he says that so long as Ani do net begin to sharpen tam, is no active danger of a change in ye. Если this change должен приходить, it would be necessary to take steps. We both znać что those steps would emate to be, though we do not mention nash thoughts to each other. We должен neither of nas shrink from the task, awful though it be to contemplate. Euthanasia is an excellent and a comforting word. I am grateful to whoever invented it. This is a reminder. Remember, all translates to vse. It is только a 24-hour sail from the Dardanelles to здесь, at the rate that Tsarina Catherine has приходить from London. Она должен therefore arrive some время in the morning. No, as Ana cannot possibly get in do then, we are всё to retire early. We shall get вверх at 11 o'clock, so as to be ready. This is a reminder. Remember, all translates to vse. 25th of no news yet of the ship's arrival. Mrs. Harker's hypnotic report this morning was the same as usual, so it is possible that we may get news at любой moment. We men are so in a fever of excitement, except Harker, kto is calm. His hands are cold as ice, and an hour ago I found Yemu wetting the edge of the Veliki Gorka knife, который he сейчас always carries with Yemu. It will be a bad lookout for the Count если the edge of that kukri ever touches his throat, driven by that stern, ice-cold hand. This is a reminder. Remember, all translates to vse. Van Helsing and I were a malinki alarmed o Mrs. Harker today. O noon Anna got a sort of lethargy который we did not like. Although we kept silence to the others, we were neither of nas happy o it. Anna Emil been restless vse the morning, so that we were at first glad to znать that Anna was sleeping. Когда, however, ye husband mentioned casually that Anna was sleeping so soundly that he could not wake ye, we шел to ye комната to vidit for ourselves. Anna was breathing naturally and looked so well and peaceful that we agreed that the spite was better for ye than anything else. Bedny girl, Anna has so much to forget that it is niet wonder that spite, если it brings oblivion to ye, does ye хороший. Later. Our opinion was justified, for когда после a refreshing spite of some hours, Anna woke вверх, Anna seemed brighter and better than Anna Emil been for days. At sunset, Anna сделал the usual hypnotic report. Wherever he may be in the Black Sea, this hurrying to his destination. To his doom, I trust. October. Another day and no tidings of the Tsarina Catherine. Anna ought to be здесь by сейчас. That Anna is still journeying somewhere is apparent, for Mrs. Harker's hypnotic report at sunrise was still the same. It is possible that the vessel may be lying by at times for fog. Some of the steamers которые came in last evening reported patches of fog, both to north and south of the port. We должен continue nash watching, as the ship chest be signaled любой moment. This is a reminder. Remember have translates to emate. 27 October, Niton. Most strange, no news yet of the ship we wait for. Mrs. Harker reported last noche, and this morning as usual, lapping waves and rushing water, though Anna added that the waves were очень faint. The telegrams from London emate been the same. No further report. Van Helsing is terribly anxious and told me just сейчас that he fears the Count is escaping nas. He added significantly, I did not like that lethargy of Madame Mina's. Souls and memories может do strange things during trance. I was to ask Yemu bolее, no Harker just then came in, and he held вверх a warning hand. We должен try tonight at sunset to делать ей speak более fully, когда in ye hypnotic state. Telegram, Rufus Smith, London, to Lord Godalming, care HBM Vice Consul, Varna. Tsarina Catherine reported entering Galatz at 11 o'clock today. This is a reminder. Remember have translates to emate. This is a reminder. Remember, all translates to vse. 20th of October. When the telegram came announcing the arrival in Galatz, I do not doom it was such a shock to любой of nas as might emate been expected. True, we did not znать когда или как или when the bolt would приходить. No, I doom it, we've expected that something strange would happen. The delay of arrival at Varna сделал нас individually satisfied that things would not be just as we Emil expected. We только waited to learn где the change would occur. Nonetheless, however, was it a surprise? I suppose that nature works na such a hopeful basis that we believe against ourselves that things will be as ani ought to be, not as we dolgens night that ani will be. Transcendentalism is a beacon to the angels, even isli it be a will-o'-the-wisp to Mushima. It was an odd experience, and we've vzal it differently. Van Helsing raised his hand over his head for a moment, as though in remonstrance with the Almighty. No he skazal not a word, and in a few seconds stood Virch with his litzo sternly set. Lord Godalming grew ochin pale and sat breathing heavily. I was myself half stunned and looked in wonder at Adin Posli another. Quincy Morris tightened his belt with that quick movement, Katori I knew so well. In nash starry wandering days it meant action. Mrs. Harker grew ghastly white, so that the scar na ye forehead seemed to burn. Noana folded ye hands meekly and looked Virch in prayer. Harker smiled, actually smiled, the dark, bitter smile of Adin Kto is without hope. No at the same vrema his action belied his words, for his hands instinctively sought the hilt of the Veliki kukri knife and rested tam. When does the next train start for Galitz? Skazal Van Helsing to us generally. This is a reminder. Remember, all translates to vsie. At 6:30 tomorrow morning. We've vsie started, for the answer came from Mrs. Harker. How na earth do you know, Skazal Art? You forget, or perhaps you do not znite, though Jonathan does, and so does Dr. Van Helsing, that I am the train fiend. At home in Exeter, I always used to deal at Virch the timetables, so as to be helpful to my husband. I found it so useful sometimes, that I always deal at a study of the timetables see chess. I knew that yesli anything were to take nas to Castle Dracula, we dolgeniti by Galitz, ili at Luboy rate through Bucharest, so I learned the times ochin carefully. Unhappily tam are not many to learn, as the Tolka train tomorrow leaves as I say. Wonderful woman, murmured the professor. This is a reminder. Remember have translates to emate. This is a reminder. Remember all translates to vse. Can't we get a special? Asked Lord Godalming. Van Helsing shook his head. I fear not. This land is ochin different from yours, ile mine. Even yesli we did emate a special, it would probably not arrive as soon as nash regular train. Moreover, we emate something to prepare. We dolgen doomit. Sichas let us organize. You, Drug Arthur, iti to the train and get the tickets and arrange that vsie be ready for nas to iti in the morning. Do you, Drug Jonathan, iti to the agent of the ship and get from Yimu letters to the agent in Galitz, with authority to deal it search the ship just as it was dis. Morris Quincy, you vidit the vice-consul and get his aid with his fellow in Galitz, and vsie he może do to deal it nash sposob smooth, so that niet times be lost kagda over the Danube. John will stay with Madam Mina and me, and we shall consult. For so yesli vreme be long, you may be delayed, and it will not matter kagda the sun set, since I am zdes with Madam to deal it report. This is a reminder. Remember all translates to vse. This is a reminder. Remember have translates to emate. And I, skazal Mrs. Harker brightly, and bolia like ye starry self than an I email been for many a long dane. Shvsia try to be of use in all ways, and shall doom it and write for you as I used to do. Something is shifting from me in some strange sposob, and I feel freer than I emate been of late. The three younger men looked happier at the moment, as Ani seemed to realize the significance of ye words. No Van Helsing and I, turning to each other, met each a grave and troubled glance. We skazal nothing at the vreme, however, kagda the three men email gone ease to ich tasks. Van Helsing asked Mrs. Harker to smatret Virch the copy of the diaries and find Yimu the part of Harker's journal at the castle. Ana shol away to get it. Kagda the dvied was shut upon ye he skazal to me. We mean the same. Speak out. There is some change. It is a hope that makes me sick, for it may deceive us. Quite so. Do you not why I asked ye to get the manuscript? No. Skazal I, unless it was to get an opportunity of seeing me alone. This is a reminder. Remember have translates to emate. You are in part right, Drug John, no tolka in part. I want to tell you something. And oh my, Drug, I am taking a terrible risk. No, I believe it is right. In the moment kagda Madam Mina skazal those words that arrest both nash understanding, and inspiration came to me. In the trance of 3 days ago, the Count sent ye his spirit to read a mind. Ilibole like he vzal ye to vidit yimu in his earth box in the ship with water rushing, just as it iti free at rise and set of sun. He learned then that we are здесь, for она имеет более to tell in yea open life with глаза, to видеть and ears to hear than he, shut as he is in his coffin box. Сейчас he делает his most effort to escape нас. At present he want yea not. This is a reminder. Remember have translates to imate. This is a reminder. Remember all translates to vse. In the next paragraph we are introducing a new word. The word my translates to moj. He is sure with his so veliki knowledge that она will приходить at his call. No, he cut yea off, take yea as he может do, ease of his own power, that so она приходить not to ему. Ah, tam I made hope that nash man brains that he'd been of Mushima so long, and that imate not lost the grace of God, will приходить higher than his child brain, that lie in his tomb for centuries, that grow not yet to nash stature, and that do только work selfish and здесь for small. Yea comes Madam Mina, not a word to yea of her trance. Она знать it not, and it would overwhelm yea and deal it despair just когда we want все yea hope, все yea courage. Когда most we want все yea veliki brain, который is trained like man's brain. No is of sweet woman and imate a special power, который the count give yea, and который he may not take away altogether, though he doom it not so. Hush, let me speak, and you shall learn. O John, moj drug, we are in awful straits. I fear as I never feared do. We может только trust the хороший God. Silence. Здесь она comes. I thought that the professor was going to break vniz and emit hysterics, just as he imel когда Lucy died. No, with a veliki effort he controlled himself, and was at perfect nervous poise когда. Mrs. Harker tripped the komnata, bright and happy-looking, and, in the doing of work, seemingly forgetful of yea misery. As Anna came in, Anna handed a number of sheets of typewriting to Van Helsing. He looked over each gravely, his litso brightening vierch as he read. Then, holding the pages between his finger and thumb, he said, "This is a reminder. Remember my translates to moj. This is a reminder. Remember all translates to vse. Friend John, to you with so much of experience already, and you too, dear Madam Mina, that are young, here is a lesson. Do not fear ever to doom it. A half-thought has been buzzing often in my brain. No, I fear to let Emu loose his wings. Здесь сейчас, with более knowledge, I идти назад to где that half-thought приходить from. And I find that he be niet half-thought at vse, that be a whole thought, though so young that he is not yet strong to use his malinki wings. Nay, like the ugly duck of moj drug Hans Andersen, he be niet duck-thought at vse, no a big swan-thought that sail nobly na big wings, когда the время приходить for ему to try ich. Vidite, I read здесь, что Jonathan imate written, that other of his race кто, in a later age, snova and snova brought his forces over the Veliki river of Turkey land. Кто, когда he was beaten nazad, came snova and snova and snova, though he imel to приходить alone from the bloody field, где his troops were being slaughtered, since he knew that he alone could ultimately triumph. This is a reminder. Remember my translates to moj. This is a reminder. Remember all translates to vse. What does this tell nas? Niet much, no. The Count's child thought vidit nothing, therefore he speaks so free. Tvoj man thought vidit nothing, moj man thought vidit nothing till just сейчас. No. No, tam comes another word from some один kto speak without thought, because она too знает not что it mean, what it might mean. Just as tam are elements которые rest, yet когда in nature's course они move на их способ and они touch, then poof. And tam comes a flash of light, heaven wide, that blind and kill and destroy some. No, that show vierch vse earth below for leagues and leagues. Is it not so? Well, I shall explain. To begin, imate you ever study the philosophy of crime? Yes and no. You, John, yes, for it is a study of insanity. You niet, Madam Mina, for crime touch you not no один раз. Still, tvoj mind works true and argues not a particulari ad universale. Tam is this peculiarity in criminals. It is so constant in vse countries and at vse times that even police, kto znает not much from philosophy, приходить to znает it empirically, that it is. That is to be empiric. The criminal always work at adin crime. That is the true criminal, kto seems predestinate to crime, and kto will of none other. This criminal has not full man brain. He is clever and cunning and resourceful. No, he be not of man stature as to brain. He be of child brain in much. Сейчас this criminal of ours is predestinate to crime also. He too, imate child brain, and it is of the child to do что he imate done. The malinki bird, the malinki fish, the malinki animal learn not by principle, no empirically. And когда he learned to do, then tam is to yimu the ground to start from to do boleh. Dos posto, сказал Archimedes. Give me a fulcrum, and I shall move the world. To do adin ras is the fulcrum whereby child brain become man brain, and until he made the purpose to do boleh, he continued to do the same snova every vreme, just as he made done do. Oh, my dear, I vidit that tvoi glaza are opened, and that to you the lightning flash shove vsia the leagues. For Mrs. Harker began to clap ye hands, and ye glaza sparkled. He shol on. Now you shall speak. Tell nas two dry men of science to you vidit with those so bright eyes. He vzal ye hand and held it whilst Anna spoke. His finger and thumb closed na ye pulse, as I thought instinctively and unconsciously as Anna spoke. This is a reminder. Remember, all translates to vse. The Count is a criminal, and of criminal type. Nordau and Lombroso would so classify Yamu, and qua criminal, he is of imperfectly formed mind. Thus, in a difficulty he has to seek resource in habit. His past is a clue, and the Adin page of it that we know, and that from his own lips, tells that Adin Raz Do, когда что Mr. Morris would call a tight place. He shol nazat to his own country from the land he Emil tried to invade, and thence, without losing purpose, prepared himself for a new effort. He came snova better equipped for his work, and won. So he came to London to invade a new land. He was beaten, and когда все hope of success was lost, and his existence in danger, he fled nazad over the sea to his home, just as formerly he Emil fled nazad over the Danube from Turkey land. Haroshi, good! Oh, you so clever lady! Skazal Van Helsing enthusiastically as he stooped and kissed ye hand. A moment later he skazal to me, as calmly as though we Emil been having a sick room consultation. This is a reminder. Remember, all translates to vsyo. 72 tolka, and in vse this excitement, I emate hope. Turning to ye snova, he skazal with keen expectation. But itina, tam is boleh to tell yesli you will. Be not afraid, John and I's not. I do in Luboy case, and shall tell you yesli you are right. Speak without fear. I will try to, no you will forgive me yesli I seem egotistical. Nay, fear not, you dulgen be egotist, for it is of you that we think. This is a reminder. Remember my translates to moi. This is a reminder. Remember all translates to vse. Then, as he is criminal, he is selfish, and as his intellect is small and his kana is based on selfishness, he confines himself to a deen purpose. That purpose is remorseless. As he fled Nazad over the Danube, leaving his forces to be cut to pieces, so sichas he is intent na being safe, careless of se. So his own selfishness frees my soul somewhat from the terrible power который he acquired over me na that dreadful noche. I felt it. Oh, I felt it. Thank God for his veliki mercy. My soul is freer than it has been since that awful hour, and vse that haunts me is a fear lest in some trance ili dream he may emate used my knowledge for his ends. The professor stood up. This is a reminder. Remember all translates to vse. This is a reminder. Remember my translates to moi. He has so nost tvoi mind, and by it he has left us days in Varna, whilst the ship that carried him rushed through enveloping fog virch to Galats, где doubtless he emails delo preparation for escaping from nas. No his child mind только videl so far, and it may be that, as ever is in God's providence, the oching thing that the evildoer most reckon on for his selfish haroshi turns ease to be his chiefest harm. The hunter is taken in his own snare, as the Veliki psalmist says. For sichas that he doomet he is free from every trace of nas vso, and that he has escaped nas with so many hours to yimu, then his selfish child brain will whisper yimu to sput. He doomet too, that as he cut himself off from knowing tvoi mind, tam может be net knowledge of yimu to you. Tam is gde he fail. That terrible baptism of blood который he give you makes you free to eat tea to yimu in spirit, as you emate as yet done in tvoi times of freedom. Когда the sun rise and set. At such times you eat tea by moi volition and not by his, and this power to haroshi of you and others, as you emate one from tvoi suffering at his hands. This is sichas vsia the boleh precious that he's not yet not, and to guard himself emate even cut himself off from his knowledge of najgde. We, however, are not selfish, and we believe that God is with nas through vsia this blackness and these many dark hours. We shall follow Yimu, and we shall not flinch, even isli we peril ourselves that we become like Yimu. Drug John, this has been a veliki nash, and it made ni much to advance nas on our sposob. You dolžen be scribe and write mu vsio vnis, so that kada the others return from ich work, you možet give it to ich, then ani shall znать as we do. And so I imate written it whilst we wait ich return, and Mrs. Harker has written with ye typewriter vsia since Anna brought the MS to nas. Chapter 10, Dr. Seward's Diary, 29th of October. This is written in the train from Varna to Galitz. Last noche we've se assembled a malinki do the vreme of sunset. Each of nas email done his work as well as he could, so far as thought and endeavor and opportunity et. We are prepared for the whole of nash journey and for nash work. Kagda we get to Galitz. Kagda the usual vreme came round, Mrs.